look at one of the most divisive issues in America, abortion. New laws limiting abortion have been enacted in North Carolina, Missouri, and of course Texas. But sometimes as minds close and lines harden, we lose sight of the people on each side of the divide. Tonight, we travel to the last abortion clinic in Mississippi, which, as we arrive, has only 72 hours left before it appears the state will shut it down forever.
Don't suck their arms and legs off with the abortion machine today.
Your baby wants to live.
Stop the shedding of innocent blood.
Every day, people show up outside the last abortion clinic in Mississippi,
There are babies being killed inside of this pink building.
certain that what takes place inside is morally wrong.
There's never a good reason for a baby to die.
The protesters believe God stands with them, and they are determined to be heard.
We have to plead with the killers to stop.
But just on the other side of the fence, the clinic staff is equally determined to drown them out.
I can make more noise than they can.
It's a defiant last stand here at the only clinic where a woman can get a legal abortion in the 48,000 square miles of Mississippi.
I know you've heard a lot that I've had to say there, folks.
Just about everybody believes a state judge will shut down the clinic in the next 72 hours. But you won't find any apologies here from the people who run the clinic. This bubblegum pink building stands loud and proud, at least for now.
Jackson Women's Health, may I help you, please?
Inside the clinic, the mood today is dark.
You can imagine our anxiety level here at the clinic.
Betty Thompson is the clinic manager.
We know that you will be safe coming to us through this week because the hearing is not until Thursday.
The clinic is in violation of a state law that requires their doctors to have admitting privileges at a local hospital. Just the latest in an ever-growing list of regulations designed by the state to force the clinic to close. Jesus! With the clock winding down, protesters like Cal ZASTROW believe
Thank you, ma'am.
they are on the verge of making history.
Let's have Mississippi lead the nation, becoming the first state to protect every baby, to protect every mom. That's what we're going for.
Diane, we are pleading with you.
That's clinic owner DIANE DERZIS. It was her idea to paint the clinic pink as a message. She's not quitting without a fight.
Stop taking blood money.
You gotta love this stuff.
But behind the bravado, she knows the odds are stacked against her.
Is your clinic in Mississippi going to survive?
I hope so. We're gonna be screaming one way or the other.
We invite you to quit murdering babies.
You're going to fight.
We have to. There's no alternative.
When did you get this car?
They're so ugly, they're cute.
DERZIS invites me to ride with her to the clinic. Like the protesters, she believes God is on her side.
I know as fervently as they do that what I'm doing is moral and right. But if I'm wrong, that's between the Lord and I.
When we arrive, about 30 people are marching in silent protest.
You thought about our lunch date?
Like we're gonna have lunch, right? Well, I'm not sure what we would discuss. When you think a fertilized egg is more important than a woman, there's no place to go with that. There is no shame in this.
Diane knows only too well how dangerous working in an abortion clinic can be. 15 years ago, a security guard was killed when her clinic in Alabama was bombed by Eric Rudolph, and a nurse was maimed.
It's not a joke that you carry a taser.
No,
It's not a
not.
joke that you carry mace.
No.
It's not a joke that you have a gun.
No, it's not. A long time ago, I made peace that that's a possibility that you die, but I couldn't imagine a better cause to die for. This is a procedure room.
But finding doctors willing to put their lives on the line is another story. The situation is so volatile that DERZIS can't find a single doctor in the state of Mississippi willing to work at her clinic.
I got to check in for my flight, make sure I can get a seat.
So she called Dr. Willie Parker, an OBGYN from Chicago.
I'm going to go to Midway.
Dr. Parker was reluctant at first.
Growing up in Alabama and knowing how aggressive people can be when they feel strongly about something, I said, there's no way I'm going south.
But after a visit, in spite of his own deep evangelical faith, Dr. Parker felt the women of Mississippi needed him.
I had no desire to abandon my Christian faith or understanding, but I found myself overwhelmed by the compassion I felt for my patients.
So twice a month, Parker braves the journey and the jeers.
People have said some very obnoxious things. like calling me the Negro abortionist and saying I kill my race and that kind of thing. So that doesn't bother me. I've gotten used to that.
He's standing in the middle of the crosswalk.
Less easy to shrug off is the threat of physical violence. Among the protesters, clinic workers point out Roy McMillan,
Mommy, I have a dream, Mommy.
who once signed a petition urging jurors to consider the killing of an abortion doctor justifiable homicide.
Doctors who provide abortions have been killed.
This is true. Frightened, sometimes yes. Paralyzed by fear, no.
So, Dr. Parker, escorted by security, enters the clinic through a back door. Inside, the greetings are warm, but he has no illusions. This might well be his last trip here.
That these might be some of the last hugs that we get to share and makes them special to me. So good to see you.
But there's little time for reflection. There's work to be done.
If you all can have the courage to come, make that tough decision to have an abortion, come past all the people who want to criticize and judge you, that I wanted to make sure that there would be somebody here to meet you. You are 6 weeks and 5 days based on your ultrasound.
In the next 2 days, he will perform 30 abortions
We can safely and easily remove the pregnancy.
and counsel more than 50 women.
Is birth control part of the service that you provide here?
It is.
So your goal is to not see someone more than once?
My goal is to see a woman as often as I need to make sure that every pregnancy is a planned pregnancy and every child is a wanted child. So I say, how many abortions? As many as necessary.
That's going to rile a lot of feathers.
I know, but when a woman chooses and decides that she needs an abortion, there needs to be a safe place for her to have one.
But that is looking less and less likely. With that hearing fast approaching, the protesters believe they are on the verge of triumph.
Someday our grandchildren will ask us, Grandpa, Grandma, tell me what it's like. I can't believe they used to dehumanize and murder babies in America. Hi, Diane.
Hey, Cal.
I want you to quit killing babies. I want you to turn to the love of Jesus.
I have the love of Jesus.
No,
It
you
proves
don't.
of what I
You
do.
have the murder of preborn children.
With fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
ZASTROW is here almost every day. 2 of his 4 children, 19-year-old Corey
Mommy, why are you going to kill me today?
and 17-year-old David, come with him.
He spends more time out here than I do.
Many of the people on opposite sides of this fence have known each other for years, locked in a very public battle over the most private of decisions. Lori is one of the clinic escorts.
Never stops. They're here, we're here.
Tanya is here to beg women to reconsider why they have come.
Actually, she's usually never here. She's only here because y'all are here. Tanya likes the cameras. She's kind of a camera whore. God loves you. You don't intimidate me, Tanya, so you know what. I'm not trying to. Really? Really, Tanya?
Meanwhile, back inside, Dr. Parker spent most of his day behind these closed doors, doing what he too believes is God's work. As night falls on the clinic, Dr. Parker is bracing for bad news.
They always say that it's always darkest right before the dawn. Well, I hope we're on the dawn of this clinic prevailing.
Coming up,
Artie.
a stunning turn of events that has the clinic's staff in the mood to celebrate.
I'm under arrest.
Yes, sir, come on.
And the protesters up in arms.
Well, no, tell me in front of people.
Come on.
Commander, tell me in front of people.
I'm not going to ask you again.
When we went to Mississippi this spring, the last abortion clinic in the state looked as if it was about to be shut down for good. We witnessed tensions flare as those who wanted it closed and those who wanted it to remain open both claimed that God was on their side. It looked as if the last abortion clinic in Mississippi was about to close the week we visited. A state judge was poised to shut it down. With only hours left to go,
Awesome news yesterday. The best news.
overnight, an injunction from a federal judge keeps it open, at least for now.
Artie.
And I got the news last night. I was like, yes!
We're going to put the patients first, and then we are going to celebrate. That would be my guess. Jackson Women's Health, may I help you, please?
Please turn to God. Please turn to help.
But on the other side of this fence,
Friends and neighbors, stop the violence.
The dismay of protesters like Cal ZASTROW is erupting.
Don't stab, don't smack, and don't suck their arms and legs off with the abortion machine today.
ZASTROW is joined today by CHET GALLAGHER.
It's not a setback for our mission. It is a setback for families and babies that are being killed in this place every single day that we delay.
Gallagher is a former police officer who was fired for refusing to arrest anti-abortion rights protesters 24 years ago.
So we're not here for any other reason except that we love you.
He's been protesting full-time ever since. Sometimes, even when there seems to be no one there to listen.
We're here to tell you the truth and that there is help available. I'm under arrest. Yes, sir. Come on.
With tensions running high today, police move in and arrest Gallagher for trespassing and disorderly conduct.
Shame on you, man. Shame on you.
Tell me where I can stand.
But a few hours later,
come on, Commander.
He's back on the megaphone without his shoelaces and following women as they leave the clinic.
We're the ones that love you.
These women don't feel loved.
We met this woman, who we'll call Marie, as she was leaving the clinic.
I've seen those pictures.
Yeah.
I did the research on the internet. We're not stupid. I'm almost 30 years old. I'm not dumb. I know what an aborted baby looks like.
Marie told us she was religious herself and understood why the protesters came, but that she felt harassed and judged by them, as did many of the women we talked to, none of whom would appear on camera.
She didn't dispute the fact that Christians love, but that it didn't feel very loving. Do you understand why someone could see it that way?
I understand why some people could feel when they're cutting the head off their baby.
Well, so that doesn't sound loving.
You're right.
I mean, and the words you're using aren't loving.
Little baby boys and girls are taken into that building, and when they use the suction machine, they're torn apart.
Over the past several decades, attitudes on both sides of this fence have solidified, as have the stereotypes about who believes what. We found it was more complicated than that on both sides. While Cal ZASTROW and CHET GALLAGHER's hardcore approach is what we're used to seeing, Barbara BEAVERS has a different tone and plays a different role in the anti-abortion rights movement.
This is our nurses' station.
BEAVERS runs a crisis pregnancy center, providing support for those who opt to have their babies.
We have baby food and clothes.
She says she worries about the young women.
So many of them say, because it was legal, I thought it was right. We have sanitized abortion. We can't go back to the coat hanger days, so we don't call them coat hangers anymore. We call them cannulas. That cannula does the same thing to the baby that the coat hanger did.
Well, but it doesn't kill the mother.
It doesn't kill the mother, but it still kills the baby. It's my friend, this is Russ.
Over the years, BEAVERS had brought some of the pregnant young women home. We join her today as her grandkids play on the lawn.
She's so proud of herself.
Does she understand, we asked, that many of the women seeking abortions don't have this kind of support?
They need their vision lifted. They think all there is right now, in this moment, and I got to deal with it right now.
I spent some time with Barbara. She says, you know, women will always regret this in some part of themselves.
My response to that is 1 out of 3 American women have had them. Is she saying that all these women are crazy out there? That's what these people want to have happen to women. Because not only do they scream at women when they come into the building, but when they come out and you're screaming, how's it feel to have killed your baby? Man, that's a bad person. There's nothing Christian about that.
You know, talking to Diane earlier today, she said, I don't understand the name calling when they're coming out, that's just hateful.
That's evil.
You agree with her about
that? I would agree, yes. And I can't believe they do that. I'm very saddened. I'm trying to deal with that kind of stuff. That's terrible.
We don't verbally assault anyone. What I usually say to a mom coming out from abortion is I'll say, ma'am, can we talk and pray for a minute? What soap and water can't wash off your heart? The blood of Jesus can. Come on, let's talk about this.
There are deeply personal and emotional arguments on both sides.
Think about it. If it was somebody throwing a 2-year-old off a bridge into the river and the mom's offended because somebody says, wait, stop.
Cal ZASTROW says he will never stop fighting, and neither will Dr. Parker.
It was a ray of sunshine on a cloudy day, but it's still cloudy. Until there's a definitive legal decision, we have to realize that this is just one small step forward in a long fight.
And so the battle continues. Each side claims a high moral purpose in which there's no room for compromise, no benefit to talk. The lines are drawn. For now, the clinic stays open. Since the federal court intervened in April, the clinic has continued to operate, though its future remains uncertain. Needless to say, abortion remains a deeply controversial and emotional issue which has ripped families and communities apart. We invite you to go to our website at abcnews.com/nightline to share your thoughts.